Hello hunters, this is the Survival Gamer. Today I'll be commencing a series of videos about the Hunter Call of the Wild, which I hope you enjoy. Specifically, I'll be showing you an alternative way of playing this game. Now, I've been developing this system for about a year now, and it involves playing the game in a survival mode or style. Now, the way it works is that in summary, you must achieve 3 tasks every day. Now, firstly, you must hunt and prepare food with the goal of eating enough each day. Secondly, you must also find and collect enough water to drink every day. And finally, you need to get a certain amount of sleep each day. So basically just the 3 main goals: food, water and sleep. Now, if any of these tasks are not achieved each day, your character will incur penalties, which makes it harder to survive. Now, in saying that, it is possible to lose this game the way I construct the system, but it can only occur in the usual way, in that your character is either knocked over or attacked by an animal severely enough to reduce your health to 0, or if you fall off a cliff or something like that. So, in a nutshell, this is how my system works, just in basic terms. Now, following on from that though, there are quite a number of specific rules that I use which make this system more complex. Now, I won't explain them all at the beginning, but I'll reveal them as I play, as is necessary. I do have a spreadsheet that I use to record the data and the rules on, which I'll show to you at some point, but not just yet. I don't want to overcomplicate things to begin with. So for this, I'll be starting a brand new game from scratch. So basically a level 1 character. I'll call him Harry the Hunter. But before we start this new game, I'll need to go to the settings menu just to show you something before we start. And we'll go to game. Now you'll notice here, actually they're not all switched off, but what we'll be doing, all these aids will be deactivated. So I'll just do that now. So basically pure vanilla settings, no special aids on, so no tracking, no footprints, anything like that. Everything is basically off to begin with. So I'll just go back from there. Now, adding to this, that's not the only thing that's off as far as your starting position of the game goes. I've also made it, this is going to make the game difficult, but that's the goal of this system, to make it challenging and more enjoyable. I'll run through a list of the other things which you don't have at the start of the game that you normally do. The lamp that you have at night, I don't have the ability to use that. The hunter mate and map that you have, at the beginning I can only have one of those, not both. For this game I've chosen to start with the hunter mate, so I won't have the map, but I can get that later on. Also the ability to crouch, to lie prone, I can't do that, so I can only stand up. Holding breath, I can't do that either. The camera that you have, the P key that you can use to take pictures, I also don't have that to begin with. Neither the ability to whistle to make the birds fly away, and some of the other things, waypoint marker I don't use, and no ability to use the fast travel feature. So as you can see, it's quite hard to begin with. So what we'll do is, all that explained, we'll start this new game. Okay. So I'll set it to the option 1 male. We'll be running, I'll start with Layton Lake, the initial reserve that the game came with. And so this will be my character Harry. So what we'll do, we'll start. Okay, here we are. I'll just accept this first mission. Now remembering I can't crouch or hold breath. Now it's critical that I get this first animal and not scare it off. Now another thing, I'll just go through the equipment. To begin with, I don't have any of these items, so I'll just take them all off.
There.
Oh.
Use your binoculars to get a closer look.
Okay, that doesn't normally happen. I think I'll just focus on the starting animal. And again, maybe I won't.
Be sure to aim for its vital organs. Heart and lung shots mean quicker kills, less painful.
See. Ah, very good. Now, while we're talking about rules, I'll bring up the first one. Oops, not meant to be using the map. The hunting area. When you shoot an animal that dies, you get that purple patch. It's supposed to signify that animals don't return. Now, I've never felt that's really worked that well in the game. I find it that animals come back into that pressure zone even after you've shot and killed an animal in that area. So what I do, I have a particular rule with the pressure zone. Once you hunt and get an animal in that zone and it turns purple like it does on the screen there, I'm not permitted to fire or harvest an animal that's fired from within that zone until it's gone, until
Look
it
at
fades
that.
away.
Your first reserve trophy. Go ahead and harvest it.
So we'll claim that. Now this is where food comes into play. I have some conditions as to whether the animal you get actually qualifies to be used as food. Now firstly, I have to have shot it with the right bullet. Now you start with the Ranger, which can shoot, or the soft point bullet, which can shoot animals from classes 2 to 6. So the black-tailed deer being class 4 is acceptable, so that's fine. Secondly, the quick kill bonus. Basically what I do is take the weight of the animal and times it by 0.25. So basically working on the assumption that, this is again the system I've made up, you get to claim 25% of the weight of the animal not for food, but for raw meat to cook later on. So basically on calculating that, I'd gain something around 15 kilos that I can carry with me. Now at the start of the game you have a maximum weight you can carry of 20 kilos. Now the Ranger weapon that you get at the start's 3.52. So basically the remaining 16 kilos or so I can carry as meat, but I can't go over that 20 kilo limit. So we've got enough meat to last us a while, but as I mentioned, the other rule of the game is to collect water. So I've basically travelled to a water source.
Did you hear that? Calls are really helpful when locating an animal.
I'm going to collect some water. Now I've made it, you have a canteen that carries 3 drinks, which is basically a day's worth of water. So what I do with that, I just travel to a water source, record the 3 drinks on my spreadsheet, and then drink them as needed. So now what we'll do is, so we've got our water, we've got our food. We haven't actually cooked our food yet. Now cooking food, it can only be done at outposts. So what I think I'll do here, I'll complete this quest, just visit this lookout point, and then following from that I'll go to the first outpost, and we'll continue from there. Now another point concerning food, that blacktail harvested before, the raw meat I've got at the moment, the rule I have in the game, you can hold it for 1 day or 24 hours of not real life but actual game time, and after the 1 day, if you haven't cooked it yet, it spoils, so then you have to discard it. So you have to make sure when you harvest your meat that you don't take too long in actually preparing it.
Keep track of where the wind is.
Okay, we're on top of the Belmont Eastern lookout point. Now this brings another aspect of the game into play, as you'll see I've just gone up a level to level 2. Now as far as I mentioned earlier about all the skills and aids that are turned off, the way I play this survival mode of Call of the Wild, each time I go up a level I can choose a skill or an aid or an assist, call, or whatever I'd like to choose. So what I'm going to do for this level 2, I'm going to choose, no, that's not it. I'm going to choose the deer bleat caller, since the two deer that I can hunt for food are the white-tailed deer and the black-tailed deer. So basically every time I go up a level I can add a new aid or item to my list of things I can use. So right there, that means right now I've got the Ranger, the .243 with the soft point bullets, which I start with by default, and my first item I've earned will be the deer bleat caller. So now I'm going to head to the first outpost, and then we'll go through the rules that I use with regards to cooking, preparing food to eat. Okay, we're at the outpost, and this is where I'll explain in simple terms just how the deal is with cooking your food. Now, as I mentioned, they can only be done at outposts. What I've done previously, I've calculated just, and I might go into the specifics of the actual calculation. This is probably one of the most complicated parts of the system I've made up. But what I've done in basic terms, I've got to cook 2 kilos of black-tailed deer that will give me enough meals for the rest of the day. You need to have 3 meals a day: your morning meal, your afternoon meal, and evening meal. So the way it works is that for each kilo of meat that you cook, it takes 1 hour. So the way I do that, I basically do a sort of a fast or accelerated time by using the rest facility that you have at the outpost. So I hit the E key, and because I've worked out I'm cooking 2 kilos of meat, 1 per hour, so I just forward the clock 2 hours to simulate preparing the food. Obviously there's a cost to this, so I've got to make sure I manage my money well. So we'll do that. So now what that means is I now have enough food to last for the rest of the day. Now I mentioned earlier about the rule of meat spoiling. You can hold it for 24 hours and then it spoils. That's the raw meat. Now I apply the same rule for cooked meat. So now I've got 2 meals worth of meat, and that'll last 24 hours from now. So you can see on the clock it's 12:38, so it would in theory last till the same time the next day in the game. Okay, I'll leave it there for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, and what I'll do, I'll create the next video. Will continue with Harry the Hunter's hunting expedition, day 1, part 2. Thanks for watching.